If you think outside the box a little differently, you'll end up with a box that looks a little bit different. Take a look at these 4 joints which I cut on the table saw. I used a single blade to cut all of them, and there was probably 20 seconds of setup time switching between one template and the next. All because I thought outside the box, or about the box. Joint, box joint. It's a box joint jig video. If you've been to my channel before, you'll know that I've got a box joint jig called Woodfather's Jig, which I made to make box joints on the table saw with a single blade. Honestly, I'm super proud of this jig. It's so easy to build, so easy to use. Back when I made this, I had a lot less skill and a lot less time to spend out in the shop, and it was such a huge time saver and game changer for me. It was fantastic. Highly recommend it. So as a reminder for this jig, you've got a sliding fence that moves back and forth, and the positions that it can slide to is limited by a template on the back here, which a pin in the back of the sliding fence references against. In fact, to make it a little bit easier, how about I show you this way? So this is the sliding fence here, and as you can see, there's a pin underneath it. And this pin limits how far the fence can travel. So if I want to switch, I need to go up and over, and then cut back and forth, up and over, cut back and forth, up and over. If you're interested in finding out more about this jig, first link down below. And the best thing about this jig is that it uses a single blade, but you can still make joints of any type. I've got joints here ranging from 8mm up to about 24mm, all with a single blade, all on the same jig, and with about, I don't know, 30 seconds of setup time in between each one. This joint has got 16mm fingers because my template has got 16mm fingers. You can see how it lines up. This joint, on the other hand, has got 8mm fingers, and that's because I used 8mm plywood when I set up the template. Now, because it's just templates, you can mix and match them to make joints that you couldn't ordinarily make on a box joint jig. For example, this one has got 3 different size joints. It's got 16mm, 8mm, and 32mm, all of them put together. I didn't have to think about how to lay it out. I just put the templates in the jig, put the piece of wood next to it to make sure I liked the pattern, and that was it. And so here's the thing, you can pretty much cut whatever template you want, and the setup time is effectively nothing. And I think it's actually taken me longer to describe it to you than it would for me to actually cut a joint on the jig. So to save some time, how about I just show you how it works? I've got my template set up in the back here, and on the front, I've got 2 sides of my box already mounted and clamped. To cut the other end of these pieces, I need to unclamp them, take the work pieces out, and then flip them end for end, keeping the same side against the fence. I've got 2 sides of my box cut, but of course, they're not exactly going to fit together. Now, to figure out the mating joint, this is where it gets a little bit difficult. You're going to need to put on your thinking cap, throw your mind back to high school maths, maybe university maths, maybe a little bit of machine learning. We'll come up with an algorithm to figure out the mating joints. Okay, yeah, no, it's a piece of cake. Template goes up, template goes down. Template goes up, template goes down. Template goes up.
Bed goes up, bed goes down. Bed goes up, bed goes down. Bed goes up, bed goes down.
And that's it. And that's what we're going to cut.
And it honestly is that easy. Just flip the template over and cut the other sides of your box. At this point, it's actually more boring than difficult.
You know what isn't boring? Hitting subscribe. Now with that all done, I should just be able to fit all 4 of these joints into each other. Let's see what happens. I don't know where to put it. Yep, it works. Now, let me spell it out for you if you haven't cottoned on yet. I think it's amazing being able to cut different size fingers on the one joint. I think it looks beautiful, I think there's lots of applications, and I think it's a lot of fun. So if you've built this jig, go ahead and give it a shot. I think it's really cool. I'd love to see what sort of stuff you can come up with. Now, if you've hung around all the way to the end of this video, you must have liked the content, so please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below letting me know what you think and what you'd like to see next. And of course, if you haven't seen Woodfather's jig, you'd probably want to click on this video up here because that's where you'll find out a lot more about it. Cheers, gang. It's a tragedy.